I first want to start by saying that it is not the focus of Democrats on this committee to dismantle the Department of Education. It's not the role of the federal government to write curriculum or develop instructional materials for the classroom. I don't think anyone would want that. Our role is to support state and local efforts in adopting policies and laws that promote effective literacy practices. Ultimately, states and local school districts are the ones that determine how literacy programs are created and implemented. Not Congress, not this committee. Yet we are here. I just want to mention that, Mr. Bromley, you did reference the NAEP data and Louisiana's progress, but I would encourage everyone to disaggregate that data a little more, and you will see that white students are the ones who experience the largest gains, which demonstrates that access to these opportunities still exists. The Elementary and Secondary Education Act requires that states that receive Title I-A funds to teach and assess reading skills, language arts, mathematics, and sciences for specific grade levels. There are also other programs such as Title II Teacher Preparation that provide funding to help improve student academic achievements in reading and writing. This testimony from the witnesses is probably the best case for funding Title I and II programs at the Department of Education. ESSA does not dictate how subject matter should be taught, but I can tell you, as a classroom teacher, I know that direct instruction is effective for foundational skills, but not for developing deeper conceptual knowledge. Long-term and sustained federal investments in our schools, particularly in our teachers, is crucial to addressing the learning gaps in this country. Teacher preparation, licensure standards, professional development, and in-service are all critical to addressing the learning gaps in this country. The actions of this administration do not focus on literacy. The ongoing dismantling of the Department of Education and efforts to defund K-12 education programs will have a negative impact on the ability of schools to teach and teachers and students to learn. For example, the cancellation of $900 million in contracts at the Institution of Education Sciences, including research on literacy and the elimination of ESSA Title II funding for teacher preparation will actively harm the development and implementation of literacy programs. Ms. Roughton, I'm happy that my Republican colleagues have invited you here because every word of your testimony illuminates the need for early childhood education so that students can learn letter recognition and letter sounds, all of those things that are foundational for when they actually begin kindergarten. So thank you for all of your words today. Dr. Wingford, my question is to you. Can you speak to some of the best practices that state and local school districts can use to achieve better literacy outcomes and how these evidence-based models are actually working?
So I would like to say again, I think that's one point that many of us agree on. We, in fact, agree on the science of reading. We agree that multi-tiered systems of support actually work to support students. We believe that within those tiers, that tier 3, pulling students for greater intervention when they demonstrate that they need more help is always good practice. Using data to inform your practice is always good practice. What we have to be more careful about is looking at that data in a more nuanced way. Not all students are experiencing literacy and education in the same way, and how can we use that data to better support or navigate instruction for those students who are not experiencing it in a way that is allowing them to be successful or proficient.
I want to thank you for your testimony today because you have actually drawn into the fact that we rely on these NAEP scores, which are federally funded. We can disaggregate these scores to give us the information that we need to pinpoint where the issues are and actually address them for students. So this is not a one-size-fits-all approach. We agree with that, and local districts should be able to make those informed decisions and precisely hone in on the students who need it most. But that does not happen by defunding the federal agency that actually is there to support districts. Dr. Brumley, you thanked the Trump administration for all of your progress. However, you noted that this effort began 5 years ago, and federal funding has helped with that. So 5 years ago, the Trump administration was not the administration who was in charge. It was actually the Biden administration. And massive investments into districts like yours have definitely benefited. So yes, we are not afraid of change. We are not afraid of looking at the data and using it to inform our decision, but we can't ignore what the data tells us. Thank you. I yield back.